Today we are going to presenting about our PSDA project 2, inferential statistic. So our team is utilizing the dataset collected during our first project to proceed with our project 2, this one. So for this current project, we need to perform a statistical inference analysis that includes various analysis based on our dataset. So there are a few compulsory analysis, including the hypothesis testing, one sample or two sample, and the correlation, the regression, and etc. And the title of our recent project is The Learning Mode and its Impact on Students' Academic Performance. So the objective is to explore students' learning approaches and how their engagement in their curriculum influences their academic results. So these are my teammates, Sabrina as our leader, and we are all contributing into this project to complete this project with quality. And so next, so in this project, our aim is to investigate whether there is a relationship between students' study type, study period in a day, satisfaction level of learning mode, number of courses taken, comfortability of study mode with their CGPA. So to analyze and interpret this data set, our group have decided to use the hypothesis 2 sample test, correlation, regression test, and also the chi-square test of independence. This data set has a mix of nominal, ordinal, interval, and also ratio data that offering us a comprehensive foundation for applying various statistical analysis techniques. Thus, we want to evaluate whether these variables really affect the students' academic performance and also their final CGPA. Here are some our expectation of our project. So first of all, we are expecting to see there is a slightly difference in the mean of study hours of students between students that study regularly and those who study seldomly. So next, the second one is we are investigating to get the relationship between the study period of students in a day and their final CGPA, whether it will affect much. And we are also expecting to get the result on student satisfaction of their own learning mode are partially dependent on their study habit. And lastly, we are expecting the students' study habit are highly dependent on their satisfaction of their own study mode. So actually, these are the 4 expectations throughout this before we start this project. So let's go into details of our project now.
So first, we are going to test the relationship between the mean of student study hour. We are going to test are there any difference between the mean time for students who study regularly and seldomly. We are using hypothesis 2 sample test. So the result is the mean study hours of students show only a very slight difference whether they study randomly or regularly. The test statistic we calculated is negative 0.9937 and greater than the critical value negative 2.0181. Thus, we got a conclusion that is we fail to reject the null hypothesis and the study status does not appear to have a clear impact on the amount of time students spend studying.
Now, I would like to present about relationship between study period in a day and CGPA of students. Will the study period of students affect their final CGPA? We use correlation tests to test about this relationship. So, after doing correlation tests, we get a negative linear correlation with correlation coefficient R equals to negative 0.0411. This value is quite small, therefore the graph has been closer to the no linear relationship. Otherwise, test statistic value t equals to negative 0.337 and the degree of freedom is 67. After we calculate the p-value, we know that the p-value is greater than the alpha, which is 0.7371, greater than 0.05. In conclusion, we have failed to reject null and the hypothesis is everyone having different study mode. Thank you.
My name is Yu Hin, and I'm going to talk about the relationship between the number of courses taken and the student comfortability of study mode. Does the number of courses taken have a high impact on student comfortability or study mode? From the regression test we just conducted, we have a negative linear relationship. So from what we got, we create the estimated regression model, which is y equals to 4.2049 minus 0.1139x, which has a negative slope from the negative 0.1139. And for what we got, we calculate the R square, which show it is between 0 and 1, which also indicate that it is a weak linear relationship. And when we calculate the test statistic value, we get negative 1.576, and the degree of freedom, which is the number of data minus 2, and we get 67. And the p-value that we calculated is more than 0.05, which conclude we reject the null hypothesis. So this indicate there is a linear relationship between the number of courses taken and the comfortability of student study mode exists.
Finally, we are going to test the relationship between students' study habit and their satisfaction of their learning mode. So we are wondering, student satisfaction of learning mode is dependent or independent on their study habits. So we are using the chi-square test for the independence. So the x squared we calculated is 0.0692 here. And the critical value x squared calculated in R is 5.991 with the degree of freedom 3. We are using significance level of 0.05 here. And the p-value we calculated is 0.9575 here. And the s squared, we can find that the s squared is less than the critical value. So with the decision rule, when the s squared calculated is less than the critical value, we are failed to reject the null hypothesis. So there is no sufficient evidence to support the claims factors, and hence factors are not highly dependent. That's all. Thank you.
So now I'm going to make a conclusion for our project. So first of all, for the first test, which is the two-sample hypothesis test, it shows that students' study time does not seem to be significantly affected by whether they study often or rarely. For the second test, which is the correlation test, it also shows that there was insufficient evidence for linear correlation between students' CGPA and the number of hours studied per day by the students. And for the third test, which is the regression test, the result also showed that no significant linear relationship between the number of courses taken and the comfort level of the learning mode for each student. And for the final test, which is the chi-square test, it also shows that there is insufficient evidence to support a relationship between student study habit and their satisfaction with learning patterns. So in summary, by referring to our analysis conducted throughout various statistical tests just now, it is evident that students' study habit, the study time, and the number of courses taken do not really exhibit a direct or strong linear relationship between with the academic achievement, their learning comfort, or the satisfaction with learning patterns. So actually, all these factors do not appear to have a significant impact on each other because all the students have their own study time. They have their own spending of time in their learning mode. So we couldn't say that everyone would have the same performance after that if they follow their own follow their own type, their study type. So each student has their own unique study preference, methods, and also plans, which may evolve all the time over the time. If you keep changing, like after 1 year, maybe my study type or study mode might change. So we couldn't we couldn't set a mode for them. So therefore, the key lies in students understanding themselves well and adapting to the most effective learning strategies. So every student have their own mode and they have their own step. They do not need to follow their friends. They can just follow their steps and pace to get themselves adapt into the most suitable and comfortable mode for them for studying and to get better results. So that's all from this project. And let's move on to our reflection from all of our teammates.
By this project, I have highlighted several key points. Clean and accurate data is essential, and understanding the data helps in selecting the right tests such as hypothesis tests, correlation tests, regression tests, or chi-square tests. Otherwise, I have learned that each test has specific rules or assumptions that must be met to ensure the valid results. Moreover, our team have a good communication and good teamwork during the whole project discussion and presentation. Through this project, I have improved my overall understanding about all of these statistical tests. Thank you.
So finally, this project has been successfully completed. So first and foremost, I think I really learned how to analyze and interpret all the data to write a conclusion out after I interpret all the data with suitable methods, which is the tests we have done, like the chi-square test and also the two hypothesis test. Like after I do the analysis and interpret it, I need to know how the calculation are done, how the calculation are done, and make a conclusion for the test. And the next thing is I really learned something new is the R programming because it is used throughout the project because all the analysis we are using the R programming to help us. And although it is just the basic analyzing in analyzing the data, but I'm sure I really learned something and to aid my foundational understanding in statistic these subjects. And I think it will help me a lot in my future career development as my basics and knowledge are increasing. And the next thing is the cooperation and teamwork. As usual, I think they are really, really, really essential for every project, including this one, as we need to do together and we need to complete this project with quality, and all the tasks and the parts have to be separate evenly so that we can complete it in a specific time. And furthermore, I want to give my gratitude and thank you to my lecturer, which is Dr. Noizan, for her guidance, which has throughout this semester. Actually, I've been following you since my first semester. So I have consistently found your instructions are given nicely and your lectures I can understand well for me. And I was so happy to have you in this semester also. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
This project and this course, I learned a lot of methods of gathering information and analyzing the dataset according to its suitability, and the skill of coordination and cooperation, which was vital throughout this entire process of this project, was vital, and this experience can contribute heavily to my future career as this skill lays out the foundation of a productive and efficient team if assigned to a team-based project. And I would like to also thank Dr. Noh Haizan for being a great advisor and lecturer because of her insightful suggestion and teachings have been truly helpful throughout this entire course, and my team could not have accomplished this without her aid. That is all from me. Thank you.
This project has provided me with the opportunity to learn a wide range of statistical methods, such as testing correlation and validating claims through data collection for forensics. I would like to express my gratitude to my teacher, Dr. Haizan, and my teams for their invaluable support and cooperation. Dr. Haizan has laid a solid foundation for my understanding of statistics, enabling me to grasp the concepts and techniques essential for this project. Additionally, the active cooperation and dedication of my teammates have been instrumental in successfully completing this project. Thank you, Dr. Nohaizan, and thank you to my teammate for your support and collaboration.